So today we're going to be trying Louie Lopez's Pro Model board. This is his actual shape and size. I feel like skaters either have a lot of good things to say about hockey and FA boards, or they have a lot of bad things to say. It seems like it's either one way or the other. Today we're going to run the board through a series of like 5 or 6 tests to figure out if this board is a good fit for you or if it's just all hype. So before we get into like the dimensions of the board, a few cool like little details. It does have a sticker here saying BBS, so that means it's made by Bareback. Same people that make like primitive boards, Baker boards. BBS is one of the best wood shops in the industry in my opinion. Also, I don't know if you guys saw Louie Lopez's last part, but the thumbnail on YouTube was this little character here on the board. I didn't know that this was an ongoing thing, but they do have Louie Lopez's little Snoopy looking guy actually on the board. So it's a cool little detail. I don't know if they're like, this is supposed to be like a sacrificial baby or like the universe like savior space baby. I don't know. Anyways, regardless, it's a very unique graphic. And then you've got the blacked out FA. Okay, if I can find them, I'll actually put the actual dimensions of this board on the screen. But obviously with these boards, the like big, like, I don't know if you call it a gimmick, but the big selling point is this huge nose. Most boards right at the pocket, the nose starts to like taper in. With this, you have like a super wide, I think they call it a shovel nose, where it keeps going straight. And then after the pocket, it starts to curve around. This is really interesting for a couple reasons. One, not only is like the nose like super big, super wide, but it's also pretty steep. So with this giant steep nose, I want to test whether or not that gives you like better control when you're doing your ollies, as well as when you're flicking the board, heel flips and kick flips. The tail is also pretty full for a tail, I would say. And I feel like the tail is kind of steep as well. Definitely not as steep as the nose, but yeah, really curious about this shape. It is an 825, that is what Louie Lopez skates. As well, I normally skate Thunders, but because Louie is an independent guy, had to bring out the independents. He skates highs, these are mids, so it's not exactly the same, but we do have Louie's bearings. These are SKF bearings, and he does skate Spitfire Classics as well. So we're getting pretty close to Louie's actual setup. Let's check out the concave on the board. It looks like a solid like medium to like a little bit more than medium concave. Like there's definitely a good amount of concave on there. Not so much that I feel like it'll be like crazy, but I do feel like there's enough that if you're skating like through a bowl and you need to turn, I feel like it'll have a little bit more responsiveness. Definitely not a flat shape by any means. All right, there we go. The line in the grip really shows you how square the nose actually is, and the tail as well. All right, so there's a few aspects of this I want to test. The first is like this concave. Like I was saying, I think this would be good for like transition because you're able to like control without kick turning. I never skate transition, so you guys are gonna see how uncomfortable I look, but. Woo! That's so bad. I can definitely feel like my trucks feel looser, not because my trucks are actually looser, but because the extra concave makes it more like touchy. Oh. Tranny guy? Who am I? Oh. All right, that's enough transition. Let's try and not hurt ourselves. The next thing I want to test is because Louie skates indies, I normally skate Thunders, and Thunders have the axle closer out to the tip of the tail and the tip of the nose. So that affects a few things, but particularly like when you pop faster. Your tail hits sooner. So I want to test that out and just like feel out how the ollies feel with the pop. but also with how this nose feels, like leveling out my board. Try and do it like up the euro. I'm gonna try and like ollie up it, ollie a bit higher than I normally would to really test out how the board pops and also like how the nose catches my foot to level it out. So, oh shit, it feels so bad. I mean, it felt so bad. Let's try it again. It's my first ollie on it. So the tail, even though the axles moved in, the tail is so steep that it's taking a long time to actually get the pop. But you can tell like my foot caught really good on the nose of the board, but I missed the pop. Let's see if I can do a better one. Oh, yeah, it's so weird. The tail is so steep. I can't seem to get the tail to hit for me. It feels so awkward. I feel like that's gonna mess with all my tricks. Let's try one more. Man, because it's so like steep, you have to get your nose so vertical in order to get a clean pop, which I think it's just gonna take some getting used to, but let's try some pop shoves, front shove, back shove, and just see what that pop is like with something else besides an ollie. Yeah, I'm having such a hard time getting my tail to hit. I think part of it is I'm so used to symmetrical boards, and this is like so not symmetrical. It feels so weird, and it looks like it's rotating weird because one end of the board is heavier than the other. Let's try front shove. It forces you to pop so vertically that it's good for getting up in the air because your board is like up, but it's just getting the right pop is hard. Can't get it to pop how I want. I gotta say, like, it's very like responsive. It gives you a lot more like control. So it's like you get to do what you want with it. Whereas with a flat board, I feel like you're a little bit more limited. Whereas with the steeper tail, steeper nose, more concave, there's like a lot of angles for you to use your foot to like guide the board how you want. I'm just not used to all this power, dude. So to test out that like control, I want to try doing some 180s and see what it's like maneuvering the board through the air with the rotations. Your foot has so much control. Like it's like catching my foot so aggressively. It definitely like sticks to your foot. Like I feel like I'm not used to skating it, so my timing is like a little bit off, but still it's like, I don't know, it just like wants to grab my feet, land regardless of like how bad I did. So the other thing I've heard people either love or hate about these boards is because the nose is so long, it's really, really good for nose slides. And because it's so steep, it really it lifts your back trucks up and gives you a lot of clearance. Like on the inside of the ledge, it wants to like lift up and give like a ton of clearance for your wheels. I've heard that's really good, but with crooked grinds, it's almost like the angle, because there's so much nose, it almost doesn't pinch vertically enough. I don't know, this is what the homie Matt DG says. So we're gonna test it. So I wanna do nose slide and crooked grinds on the ledge, but first I wanna just get warmed up. See if we can do some front 50, back 50 on the ledge. Yeah, I'm missing my pop, you know? It's so startling every single time. The board's just not doing what I want. I feel like I'm like in a rodeo just hanging on. So scary every single time. I think that might be as good as it's getting today. The board is like, you can tell, not sticking to my feet. Let's try front side. It's almost like, because the nose is so steep, it's almost like when I drag my foot, I'm like kicking the board away. Like I'm just not sure how to guide the nose. And so it's almost like I'm like unintentionally like kicking the nose away from my feet. Try the nose slide. Let's see how this, oh yeah. You can slow-mo that back and just see how my foot is catching the nose. It's like almost wanting to turn like half a kickflip when I ollie. I think I need to put more of my foot on the board. The ollie feels uncomfortable, but sitting on that nose slide definitely felt very cozy. It's almost like too locked in. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you really gotta press on it because it's so steep. To get to the flat part of the nose, you like really have to get this leg out of the way and press down. But then you've got like so much nose to work with, but it does take more like effort to get locked in. Let's try one to fakie. Like, I don't even know. Like, I have no words. Like, so much is just going wrong. Yeah, so the nose slide is definitely harder to get into, but once you're in it, you're in it. But the ollie seems to be the hardest part for me, is just clicking that tail with such steep kick. All right, now let's try out the crooks. Like Matt DG was saying, because the nose is so long, it gives you such a flat pinch that it doesn't like hold as good. Harder to get all of your weight like right on top of it. Yeah, let's try it out. Man, there's like this point right before you ollie that you get to, that like comfort zone. The tail is so steep when I crouch down, it just feels wrong. Yeah, the pinch is like, it just feels like more flat. Like when you lock in on thunders, it just like grabs, you know? If the pinch is like this balance point, it's easy to like fall to either side. Whereas with thunders, once you're in, it's like almost like you can't move. Devastatingly hard right now. That was such a battle for just a crook. It's hard to say if it's like good or bad, because there's probably people out here that like love that feeling of how the nose is like sitting in the pinch. I think I personally have to like agree with Matt DG on this one. It's like, see how flat my board is when I'm pinched? Like I swear with my thunders and with a shorter nose, it's like up. With this, the pinch is like so flat. Last thing to try is how the board flips, like this giant nose. How is that gonna affect heel flips and kick flips? Oh my gosh. You can see like I missed my flick on that one. I barely caught the nose, and there's so much nose to work with, so that's not a good test. Got you can see a red mark right there. Got a little bit more of the nose, but still. Even just crouching down, getting ready to pop, having my back foot like an inch higher or however much higher my back foot is, throws off my balance. I'm gonna do it again. No, it's not leveling out, dude. It's still rocket. I can't get it dipped. I feel like I'm battling so hard, but it's like you can see, I'm just not used to like where the board is when it pops, and I keep missing my flick. Like I'm barely catching the edge of the nose. There we go. I mean, that's better. So finicky almost. Okay, let's try heel flip on flat and then heel flip of the Euro. I really don't know how this is gonna go. Okay, that's really nice for heel flips. I can tell it's like grabs your foot really, really good. Yeah, it like really wants to level out. All right, TJ, you try it. TJ low-key has like rocket heel flips, so yeah, see? There we go. Okay, let's see if we can get it up the Euro in a few tries. Oh, dumb. Let's try backside flip on the pyramid. I think I figured out what it is. The board, the tail is so steep, it's popping my nose up so fast. So my foot is basically rubbing right here, catching the board before it's getting to the nose. So that's why I'm kicking the board away when I try and level out my tricks. It's just because I'm not ready for the nose to be up that high. Question is, who would like skating a board like this? If you're somebody that likes to like really, really, really feel your nose, like you want as much grip on that nose, like overkill, then this board is for you. At least the shape of the nose, you're gonna like it. The caveat is you have to deal with also having a super steep tail. And maybe you can find an FA board that doesn't have like as steep of a tail. Honestly, I think I would have really loved this board had the tail been really mellow, but it was just like by the time my tail was hitting the ground, I just felt like the board was almost like hitting my foot before my foot was getting to the nose. So basically my timing, the way that I do my flick, like the position of my leg, completely thrown off. So if you're somebody that likes skating with a really steep tail, you will like love this board. One thing I did really love about the board is the fact that it has a lot of concave It's not like out of control, but it is a decent amount of concave. And I really like that you can really like control the turning, feels like really effortless. It feels really nice to ride it. Like cruising around the park, like feels amazing. It's just when I go to pop my board, everything just falls apart. Leave it in the comments below if you think I should keep skating this or if I should give it to TJ. I think you'd like it, right? You think you'd like it? Anyways, guys, that is me testing Louie Lopez's FA board shape. Let me know whose board you want me to try next. Remember to make every single day a Friday, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.